All right, hot day, everybody. Welcome to the Hotspot. I am Jason Salas, and here is what we're working on for today's show.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
On today's Friday's show, we'll bring you more details released in the death of Stevie Villanueva, the man who was found dead in Talampago on January 29th. The president has declared a national state of emergency as monkeypox continues to spread in the mainland. Because it is Friday, we're also going to show you cool places to eat with Feed Me Fridays and a hub with Nestor Lecanto at the bottom half of the show. But right off the top, following the arrest of Manny Murciano Jr. and Robert Isaac Revels in connection to the death of Stevie Villanueva, a magistrate's complaint revealed several other people were present at the day of his death. As KOM News reported, the Guam Fire Department responded to a report of a trash fire in Talampago off Route 10 on January 29th and came across the burnt human remains, which they first believed to be a mannequin, as parts from the body were missing. Witnesses alleged sometime in January an argument broke out between Murciano Jr. and Villanueva about money at an apartment in Tamuning before a gunshot was fired at him. Detectives believe the motive for the homicide to be drug-related, as there was a suspected debt owed by the victim. After conducting a search of the apartment in Tamuning on July the 5th, they found multiple areas in the living room where large amounts of blood were cleaned up. Court documents state that Revels assisted his roommate Murciano Jr. in disposing of the body. He has been charged with hindering apprehension, while Murciano Jr. is being charged with murder as a special allegation of possession or use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. The Biden administration has announced new measures to respond to the monkeypox outbreak, as 6,600 cases have been reported so far in the U.S., up 1,600 cases since last week. Here is the very latest with monkeypox.
The Biden administration has declared the monkeypox outbreak a national public health emergency.
We're prepared to take our response to the next level in addressing this virus, and we urge every American to take monkeypox seriously and to take responsibility to help us tackle this virus.
Over 600,000 vaccine doses have been distributed thus far, and around 80,000 tests are now available every week.
This virus is moving fast. This is a unique outbreak, and that is spreading faster than previous outbreaks.
Some New York City clinics like this one are booked with vaccine appointments. The city is rolling out 5 new clinics to help administer tens of thousands of available vaccine doses.
In the Minneapolis area, health officials say cases started surfacing at the end of June.
We're testing people every day for monkeypox, and so far cases have not been severe. There have been no hospitalizations.
But cases are quickly rising in the region.
The biggest thing that we're seeing clinically as a sexual health clinic is skin lesions. They can be anywhere on the body, but we're most commonly seeing them on or around the genitals.
Monkeypox is mostly infecting men who have sex with men, but anyone can catch it. It spreads primarily through skin-on-skin contact. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The Biden administration is also exploring new methods of administering the vaccine to expand availability. All right, everybody, now it's time to go online and share some of your conversations on Facebook and Instagram with our weekly question. This week we asked, of course, who do you support in the election for our congressional delegate? Would it be Senator Talina Nelson, former Speaker Dr. Judy Wanpat, or Senator Jim Moylan? Here is some of what you had to say. The results on our unofficial Instagram poll favored Judy Wanpat with 41%, followed by Senator Moylan at 32%, and then Senator Nelson at 27%. We will continue asking the weekly question as we continue our election coverage, and make sure to check out our conversations and check out HotSpot, or the hub. That's at the bottom of the show with Nestor Lecanto, of course. All right, it's time for another Feed Me Friday. So with Devondale Milk, for this week's episode, Hannah Devanzo heads over to Brood Awakenings right across the street from us, over here in Harmon.
It's Feed Me Fridays on KOM News Hotspot, brought to you by Devondale, real milk from free grazing cows.
Day, everyone. I'm Hannah Devanzo, and we're back with another Feed Me Fridays, but today we're here at Brood Awakenings, and I love this place. It's right down the street from my office, but I've never had a chance to try their coffee, so come along with me.
What's up, everybody? My name is Cameron. I'm here from Brutal Awakenings. We're making 2 drinks today. We're making the Tally Bay and the Beat the Heat, right? So how we're gonna make the Tally Bay is actually a Brutal Awakening specialty. It's with, it's actually a vanilla latte with charcoal and our cold foam. Right? So how it's gonna go ahead and pull those foam shots. Right, just like so. Add some vanilla, get the shots, pour the shots in, and then the specialty, what hits, is our charcoal. You don't want to use too much charcoal, guys, like so. Put that in. Come over here, get to mixing. Mix this bad boy in. Pour this in. And grab our ice. So with the vanilla cold foam, it's usually our heavy cream, some vanilla bean fat, and we stir it in just to get it all fluffy. Then that's when we add the charcoal. Boom. This right here is the Tally Bay. So our next drink is going to be the Beat the Heat. All right, we're going to grab our cup. Basically what the Beat the Heat is our toffee coffee mixed with some mocha sauce. Let's go ahead, pour this in. All right, I'm going to go over to the mocha sauce. I like to put 2 pumps for the 20 ounce. Get the darkness in there. Let's do the toffee coffee. We have this blend. We're good like 10 to 15 seconds just to make sure all the ice is crushed up. Add the drink in. And that right there is the Beat the Heat.
Looks good. Which one was that? Okay.
Tally Bay, and this one is the Beat the Heat.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So what I ordered is the Tally Bay latte and then Beat the Heat frap. And I already took a sip of these. They're so good. I think this one is so far the winner, but they're really close. Let me go ahead and try it again. Really sweet. If you like sweet coffees, this is definitely the one for you. And then this one kind of has more of a bitter. Yeah, this one's actually for those people that like more rich and bold coffees. This one's the one for you. So these are a good balance together. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy these. And that pretty much wraps up this Feed Me Fridays, brought to you by Devondale. Back to you, Jason.
It's Feed Me Fridays on KOM News Hotspot, brought to you by Devondale. Real milk from free grazing cows.
All right, really, really cool stuff there. Now, the area of responsibility for the United States Coast Guard on Guam is vast, spanning nearly 1.9 million square miles, which includes the waters off of us right here on Guam, the CNMI, and the FSM. It's the responsibility of the Coast Guard's fast response cutters to provide an array of tasks to keep our waters safe. With more on how Guam is currently the home port to 3 of them, here's Jonah Gonçalves.
There are currently 3 newly commissioned U.S. Coast Guard fast response cutters assigned to Guam, each named after a Coast Guard hero. Lieutenant Hallie Merritt is a commanding officer for Myrtle Hazard, which has a crew of 24, which includes 4 officers, 2 chiefs, and several enlisted members. She says they have an all-encompassing mission.
So fundamentally for this area, we provide the search and rescue response. We also do a lot of kind of expeditionary support and services to all of the local countries that are around in this area. So if anyone's missing or we need to regulate any type of fishing, we provide that service as well.
So who is Myrtle Hazard?
She happens to be named after our first enlisted woman in the service. So as you can imagine, it's a pleasure for me to have taken command of.
Which makes it even more significant for Merritt, being a woman and serving at the helm.
To be in this position, I'm now equipped with a lot of authority and influence, and really it's a privilege to just represent, the direction that our service is going in, a lot of the work that's been put into people like me, right? I didn't just magically show up, so there's a lot of mentorship.
Lieutenant Patrick Dries is a commanding officer for the Frederick Hatch. Hatch was a surfman and lighthouse keeper who was a 2-time gold life-saving recipient, which is the highest honor a U.S. citizen can receive for a rescue at sea. He says that the area of responsibility for all 3 fast response cutters
extends all the way through Micronesia, down towards Palau and up to the northernmost islands of the CNMI.
Along with increasing the capabilities of the U.S. Coast Guard, they also focus on maritime law enforcement.
Enforcing the fisheries regulations that ensure that all of our partner nations, Guam and the CMI, are able to continue to utilize the fish stocks in this area that are so important.
Originally from New York, Dries never imagined he would be here on Guam.
It's been an awesome experience the last 7 months to get out here and to learn about this area of the world and to learn about the culture and meet the people of Guam.
Captain Nick Simmons, the commander for the United States Coast Guard Forces Micronesia Sector Guam, says that despite the amount of responsibility that the Coast Guard puts on the shoulders of these junior officers, they are always up for the challenge.
They've got small crews, but they're motivated. I've found that many of the folks who are here wanted to be here. They wanted to come to Guam. They wanted to try something new, challenging, far, far away, and come to the Pacific and try something different. So they're super excited to be here. All those new commanding officers and executive officers, they've got great attitudes. They're very competent, and they're a tremendous blessing to the unit.
Lieutenant Freddie Hofschneider has been the commanding officer for the Oliver Henry since June. Henry was the first African-American Coast Guardsman who enlisted back in 1940. And like the other 2 Coast Guard cutters, there is a crew of 24. For Oliver Henry, there are a few locals serving aboard.
This is my second time to be stationed in Guam, but I think this one's more meaningful, being the captain of the cutter. So I'm originally from Tinian, so we've done some operations already near Tinian or Saipan. So I think that, it's definitely a dream come true, something I never thought that I would be able to do. So it's kind of surreal, but it's awesome to be able to work in the backyard of a place where I grew up.
And if there is anything Hofschneider would want to get out to those watching, it's to consider the U.S. Coast Guard.
When you look at the islanders from the CNMI, Guam, Micronesia who join, they stay the full 20 years because it's a great return on investment of your time, your career, your energy.
Reporting for KM News, I'm Jonah Gonchafres.
All right, so we showed you that story because we want to give some context about how significant the Coast Guard is, not just to our nation, but also to our local community. I know many, many Coast Guardsmen and women over the years, and yesterday was the 232nd anniversary of the Coast Guard, and joining me now with more on how you can explore opportunities in that branch of service is Chief Petty Officer Darren Perez from the recruiting office here on Guam. Chief, very good to see you, man.
How's it going, Jason?
Chief, Prim, my friend, a Ninja Warrior. I mean, we've had the great pleasure of Pari. Thank you, Pete. But Pete, also from Santa Rita.
Yeah.
But this, I would say, you've got a long list of accomplishments. You've represented the island in so many ways. I would dare say this is probably your proudest assignment.
Yes. The fact that they specifically gave me a call to offer me the job back home as a recruiter, it was unreal. I couldn't be more honored for them to select me as the individual to reopen the office, because we haven't had an office here on Guam since 2013.
Mm-hmm. Is it down at the GCIC building with the other branches of service? Or?
No, we're actually over just outside the Navy base by the Pasanidi office, Navy Fed. Our office is down there.
Okay, very cool. Like down around Sumai?
Yes.
Okay, you don't have to travel that far from your house, right?
Well, from Santa Rita, but we end up buying a house up north, so it's a bit of a travel.
Well, you get to go home.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Okay, and you've been in the Coast Guard now for 18 years. Yes. What has the Coast Guard been able to provide you as far as career opportunities, life lessons, and things like that?
So career opportunities, honestly, when you think about the Coast Guard, you think about exactly what it is, right? The coast. So throughout my entire career, I've always been at some beautiful locations. Obviously, tracking back, I was in Hawaii for 9+ years. I went overseas to the Middle East. I've also been over to the United Kingdom. I was there in Plymouth for 3 years, and then over in San Diego before coming here to Guam. So, just having that cushion, that knowing of I'm going to be stationed somewhere that's going to have water, right? Because I can't live without water.
Mm-hmm.
We're from an island, right? You gotta have that. So, knowing that I'm going to be somewhere near water is a very good thing to me with the Coast Guard, right? And the opportunities they've given me, right? It's amazing. So I joined up to be a mechanic. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be a diesel mechanic. But not only was I able to explore the knowledge as a diesel mechanic, but I've also gotten other qualifications as an HVAC tech, hydraulics, pumps, outboard engines, all of that, and it was more than I expected. So the Coast Guard has really given me a lot that I originally did not expect. So the lifestyle, it's been great, phenomenal.
And I gotta say, Chief, I mean, looking at those ribbons and everything, and more importantly, like the clusters that are on the ribbons. I mean, I know a thing or two about military designations. You've done a bunch of stuff, obviously.
Yes.
And I'd say it's all due to the Coast Guard, with training, with opportunities,
Yes.
with were a lot of these assignments are detailed, or did you even say like that's what I want to do? Like I'm full Coast Guard through and through and everything like that. That's what I choose to do.
To be honest with you, I'm not ashamed of it. When I first joined up, I was just like, you know what? I'm a young parent. I need to provide something better for my son. And initially, I shopped around. I didn't find a branch that suited me. I thought the Coast Guard was like a Navy Reserve unit or something. No idea what it was. Inquired a little more about it from my auntie, because she used to work as an admin for the recruiting office. Talked to me, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Do my 4 years, and then until I can figure out what I wanted to do. I loved it so much, and I'm here 18 years later, as opposed to the 4 years initially.
Well, and if you don't mind me saying so, Chief, service to the Coast Guard also runs in your immediate family as well.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
The running joke with the whole sector, right? The captain, he always jokes about it, and it's funny. Me and the wife, we love it, because we moved back home, and one day I was doing a recruiting trip over Palau, and the wife made a comment and was like, "Hey, what do you think if I join the Coast Guard?" I looked at her, I was like, I'm a recruiter, right? I'm gonna take that serious, right? So behold, I kind of just gave her the information. I said, all right, because you're my wife, I'm not gonna pressure you, just here's the information if you want it, and we'll talk. Little by little, next thing you know, she's active duty stationed here on Guam. So it definitely runs in a family, and it doesn't stop there. Surprisingly, I didn't tell you about it, but my mom's also Coast Guard.
Tremendous.
My auntie's Coast Guard. And I mentioned before, right, my auntie used to work for the Coast Guard office, so yeah, a lot of Coast Guard.
Shout out to all of the women who have formed Chief Petty Officer Darren Perez, his character, his life, and it all starts with women here in our culture. We
100%.
We have so much respect and reverence for our chamaritas and everything like that. So obviously, and the fact that they're now serving in the Coast Guard is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Shout out to them. I couldn't have done without them.
Okay, so if people would like to find out more information about exactly what it does, because like you said yourself, you kind of shopped around, should I be a soldier, should I be a Marine, should I be an airman and everything like that, but something about the Coast Guard spoke to the heart of you, and you said, I just have this feeling that it's for me.
Yeah.
If people are kind of like searching for what they want to do and everything like that, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Honestly, the easiest way to get in contact with me, we're on Instagram, right? Go Coast Guard Guam. You can hit me up. I'll provide my email, my phone number, but honestly, it's really easy. A lot of people use Instagram nowadays, so that's the easiest way that most people get a hold of me. But also my cell number, 671-688-9960. Just call me up. There's a few banners out in town with the numbers on them. That's really the easiest way. From there, I can chat with you, and what we have to offer you in the Coast Guard.
Absolutely. Now, Chief, on that screen over there, you can go ahead and gloat on some of your brothers and sisters in uniform, because this is some of the footage that we got from this past weekend leading up to Coast Guard Day. Absolutely amazing. We never turn down an opportunity to go out with anybody from the military, but what does it mean for you to be able to see people that have gone through the training that you've gone through, putting on the uniform every day and, stepping up to the challenge and saying, if I'm going to defend Guam or any coast and everything like that, I want to be the first guy up?
Just looking at that, it brings back a lot of memories. I spent about 10 years of my life out at sea, and seeing the guys out there, the guys and gals, just patrolling our home waters. Right, I know a lot of those guys.
That's my cousin Jay right there.
Vic, yeah, I know those. I know
Jason
a lot of those
Roman,
guys.
right?
Yep.
My
So
cousin.
these guys out there, patrolling the waters and keeping our home safe. It really, like I said, it brings back a lot of memories. It's a lot of pride. When I look back, it's like Those were the good days, and I'm proud to be part of the efforts to offer the new generation to come out there and experience the same experiences I've had. You know, getting out there, reaching into that water, and you know, pulling out someone who's been stranded for 2 or 3 days out of the water. That is something you don't get to see and fulfill every day. And that feeling is just like, I made that difference. I was the one. And it's just like, man, now we got this new generation out there doing the same things I did. It's heartfelt.
It's like like you said, Chief, if some woman is out in the water, someone is struggling, someone is lost, someone is confused, our shores are being threatened, maybe contraband is being brought in and everything. I know every Coast Guardsman and women that I've ever known, I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, they always say, why not me? I want to be that person to just say, you know, you're not getting in here, or hey, if you need help, I'm here for you. I'm going to fight to my last breath and everything to make sure you're okay.
100%. I always.
And that is a characteristic not common in very many people. There's a very, very few people have, you know, what it takes to be a real hero.
It's honestly, the only thing I can add to that is that I always tell people, right, something I live by, if you have that power, if you can help, why not? Why not be that person to help? Why be that person to run away and shy away when you have the capabilities? Because not everyone, like you said, has that capability. So if you have that in you, if you have that drive, if you have the physical, capability of picking people up out of the water and something that you want to do it, right? And even if that's not what you want to do, at some point, you come across that, are you going to walk away? Are you going to turn around, right? You want to go out there, and that's why
step up.
That's why we look for those individuals who want to be there, because we want to put them in those situations to fulfill their needs.
Okay, well, Chief, I'm going to ask you to look into this camera right now, because I have one final question before we go to commercial break. Right, I'm a big movie fan. A lot of us here at KUMR. And I always ask anyone that I have the pleasure of interviewing in the military, what's their favorite movie about their branch of service? Of course, the Army, everybody's got, Black Hawk Down. The Navy is, of course, everybody's talking about Top Gun Maverick right now.
Right.
The Marines is kind of mixed and everything. Some people like, Jarhead. Some people like, other Marine movies. I think Air Force only has Iron Eagle. But I would dare say that the movie, The Guardian, by the Coast Guard, fantastic movie.
Honestly, I really like that movie.
Yeah.
I feel that a lot of movies end up going a little too Hollywood, but with The Guardian and the Coast Guard, I feel like it actually touched on a lot of the emotions and the thought processes that someone goes through, not just through the aviation survival technician training, but essentially people have that same mindset when they're going just through basic training. So I really like the mindset they captured in that movie. It's honestly a great movie. I've watched it a few times. My kids actually sold my son on joining up. So
very nice.
Soon enough.
Ashton Kutcher, Kevin Costner, fantastic movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the cast
I've
is
watched
great.
it like at least 15 times and everything. It's tremendous. But
yeah.
But even though it is a movie, I'd say it only shines like a fraction of the light on what you men and women do to protect us and our country. So, Chief, thank you very much, and happy Coast Guard Day once again.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
We're really in your debt. All right, please stay tuned, everybody. We are back with more HotSpot right after this.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk. gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising costs of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Boonie Fly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News Hotspot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the Hub on KUAM News Hotspot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam On Demand.
All right, let's go out in the field now where our sports guy, the #1 sports guy, Dave Delgado, is at Clutch Studios with owner Dom Sablan, and they are talking about the Basketball is Art project.
I'm here with Dom Sablan here at the Clutch Studios in Agania to talk about the Basketball is Art project. 3 months later, looking at, final 10th court.
The project itself has been great. Being able to give back to the community in a big way and getting these kids out and competing at a high level has been a real humbling experience. And then not to mention the art aspect that we're bringing to these communities. We're hoping that this project at the end of it all will bring about a sense of pride in all the village communities that we've touched, and hopefully we continue to take care of these courts and enjoy the game of basketball together.
The community was very supportive. On the business side, you had people really wanting to jump on board. So shout out to everybody that's been a part of this project. And also artist Lee was very instrumental in just making this dream become a reality.
Yeah, huge shout out to Lisa Nicholas, who I consider a great friend through this entire process. When I first met him, it was a simple, business transaction. And as I got to know him over the last 3 months, we've developed a real close relationship. And his work ethic and understanding what this is going to do for the island has really brought out some of his best work, in my opinion. And, Lee's just a great guy to work with. He understands the vision. He understands athletics on the island and how shaping these courts and bringing his artistic approach to these courts is going to really benefit us all.
I strongly feel that art, it brings out just that much of color and beauty into the world, into this life. And especially with basketball, it's definitely, I have to say, it's definitely an outlet for problematic areas. If we're talking infrastructure, it really does tie in and bring kids away from, you know, a lot of crime. You know, I think, you know, a lot of crime comes with a lot of time on your hands, but if you're preoccupied with like doing positive things with your friends and, you know, you get more proactive in the community, you feel really, you feel more confident in yourself. And with the basketball and the art works the same way. I just feel, you know, I want to showcase the beauty and I want to showcase the talent that we have on our island, you know, because there's so much potential on this island.
On the government side, Department of Parks and Recs, the governor, lieutenant governor, really supportive in your vision.
Yeah, definitely. This all started with Governor Lulian Guerrero's Youth Empowerment Grant. And, you know, when this project was first proposed, they jumped on it right away. They thought it was a great opportunity to tackle different aspects of the grant, and most importantly, getting these kids back out and active as we, you know, near post-COVID. So a lot of these kids were cooped up the last two and a half years, and to be able to give back in a big way, make this accessible and free for every kid was huge, and we hope it continues to steamroll and provide more opportunities.
Or on the final court, the 10th court down in Umatic, the games or the tournament was scheduled to wrap up this weekend, but weather forecasts looking like rain, so the tournament is going to be rescheduled.
Yeah, so, you know, unfortunately with the current weather forecast and the way the weather's been recently, we're going to go ahead and postpone to the following weekend. But nonetheless, we're looking for a great turnout from the community. We're inviting everybody, whether you're a basketball player, basketball fan, to come out and support these kids. We do have some of the top high school players competing in this tournament. So, you know, 3 months later, 10 courts later, champion will be decided, and we're looking forward to have everyone compete at a high level and enjoy the game of basketball.
Well, on the coach's side, you've seen the players progress in a sport that's fairly new when it comes to playing and getting the kids on the court.
Yeah, 3-on-3 basketball is so much more different than 5-on-5. There's a lot more space. There's a lot more flair to the game, so it was kind of our way of bringing the street side of basketball to a competitive side. But as the tournament's gone on, the kids have really adjusted and gotten used to the new FIBA 3-on-3 rules, which wasn't so familiar prior to Basketball is Art. The first couple tournaments, it's like they didn't understand fully how to play the game and the rules, but now it's, you know, it's night and day. So all the kids are accustomed to it, and we're just excited to see what happens on the finale.
All right, Jason, back to you in studio.
All right, thanks so much, Dave. Well, please don't go anywhere, anybody, because we are talking politics on the Hotspot. When we return, The Hub with Nestor Lecanto and his panel today. We've got Chris Carrillo, Dr. Ron McNinch from the University of Guam, and Sean Gumatao. That is coming up next, not to be missed.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
There's epic, then there's ultra epic. Capture life in vivid resolution with Galaxy's most advanced camera system and the built-in S Pen that puts you in control. Every moment, every angle, from sunrise to sundown and beyond. More striking, more stunning than ever. Find the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra at your nearest iTunes store or online at ite.net and change the way you work and play.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light, or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be with Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to The Hub, our weekly look at political analysis. And joining me for this week's show, we have Chris Carrillo, who is the Senior Policy Advisor for Senator Jose Pito Turlahi. And we have Dr. Ron McNinch, of course, of the University of Guam. And Sean Gumatato is the Senior Advisor for the Camacho Ada campaign. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, good. Good morning.
All right, so let's start off the conversation talking about the congressional race. We haven't talked a lot about that so far. I wanted each of you to kind of go through the three candidates, Senator Talina Nelson, former Speaker Judy Wonpat, and Republican Senator Jim Moylan. Give us your frank appraisals of their candidacies, but, you know, don't make it personal. All right, we're going to start with you, Chris.
Well, we're excited on the Democrat side to have two experienced lawmakers. Senator Nelson has done a lot of good for the community. She's well versed in education. She's well versed in the military, and I think it's important that we send someone up with that kind of experience. But her opponent also, you know, is very well versed in the foreign affairs aspect of our region, especially as she was the APIL president. She was a founding member of that organization. So it's going to be a contrast in styles for both of them. And, you know, what looms large over the federal discussion, especially coming up, is the women's right to choose issue. And I think that may play into it. We just found out a few days ago that Kansas overturned the Republicans' attempt to restrict abortion in that by 26%, which is huge. So we want to make sure that we have someone going up there to Washington that's going to help, in our view, fight for women's rights and fight for the rights of all of our citizens. And the Republicans' candidate is also a very strong candidate. Jim Moylan has a very strong voice in the community. He's been working on legislation. He's been trying to fight for the people. So it's going to be an interesting race. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to try and send our best person out there who's going to engage with the Congress and bring as many resources back to Guam as we can. So,
yeah, I wanted to talk about strengths and weaknesses of each candidate too, but you did mention the abortion would be a key issue. Senator Nelson is a sponsor of a bill, that the heartbeat bill, which would ban abortion in case of a fetal heartbeat. So how do you kind of...
Well, personally, I don't have an opinion either way of which candidate I would support, but the population is not split real evenly. I think in the last poll I seen is 68% of people want to give women the right to choose, and you may be personally pro-life, but that doesn't mean that your choice is what we're going to send out there and make the government enforce, right? You have a choice, that's fine. I think that's the long and short of it. It's everybody's opinion, but what I'm saying is, in the larger discussion of Congress, because the Roe versus Wade got overturned, it's a very serious issue for women, and I think that women are speaking loudly and they're making their voices heard. So we'll see if that has an effect on the impact.
Yeah, and Kansas is a very conservative state. Actually,
very conservative.
Upheld the right to choice.
Yeah.
Ron, strengths and weaknesses of our congressional candidates?
Sure. First of all, Moylan's got a cakewalk. He's going to walk right through the primary.
Straight through, yeah.
But there's a key second point that's very, very, very important. He has to run against a female candidate at the general. And it's traditionally, you have to be really careful as a male candidate running against female candidates. That's the first point. But Moylan's a very fine gentleman, and I'm sure he's going to do great in this campaign. On the Democrat side, you have two female Democrats that are running against each other. And so there, just as Chris said, very experienced former Speaker Judy Wampat, and also Senator Talina Nelson, and they have some good contrast. They're not like the same candidate. They're very different candidates. On the pluses and minuses, Wampat was the Speaker, and she lost her election as Speaker. And so that kind of can be a thing that can help or hurt. On the one hand, she might be able to get a consolation effect from people. Oh, here's the replacement vote for that. Or on the other hand, there could be legitimate grudges and grievances against her that will then play out again in the primary. On Talina Nelson's side, I think that she's always been outspoken in the legislature. She spoke her own mind, and a lot of times people like it when female politicians especially speak their own mind, and they speak up and they don't just try to hide in the herd. And Talina Nelson has never been that kind of politician at all. She's always spoken up when she feels that she needs to.
You think her sponsorship of the Heartbeat Act is a net loss for her?
No, I think that the whole abortion policy issue is a political jungle. And I got to tell you, any politician who wants to just parachute into that jungle and think that they can fight a whole war on it, they're very naive and they're very Pollyannish, and they need to know that, because there are votes you can get on the issue, and there are a huge number of votes you can lose on the issue, and that's why it's a danger. And so I think that most people, you go with what the bowling alley is for the issue, then you're safe. That's what happened in Kansas. The bowling alley, women should be respected, blah, 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 and it made it. On the other hand, there are really polarized people that don't speak for everybody else. The high number on the support side only deals with one narrow aspect of the pregnancy cycle, and that's the first 2 months. And then after that, it goes all over the place.
Sean, your candidate, Jim Moylan, he's as Ron mentioned, he's got a free pass into the general. But what are your thoughts on him and the other two Democratic candidates?
Well, I think that for the Republican Party, pushing him forward, absolutely, I think everyone's behind him, which is great. We have not seen a race for Congress since, I think, when the year or the cycle that Ben Bloss actually won his election. The kind of candidates, the interest in the congressional race, it's been a really long time. Now, I would beg to differ on what the biggest heartbeat, and I didn't have it the last time we were here on the show, but my wallet. We need to do some serious, CPR and a lot of work on our economy. And right now, at this point, while we understand that there's been a lot of focus on the abortion issue, but the economy of Guam needs a lot more help from its congressional side. We're watching a lot of spend that it's going away from the territories and going to other parts of the world and these other types of activities. So I know that in this last Congress, there was a lot of attention on what was happening in the committee, but the most important committee that needs more attention is the one that brings the bread and butter to the territory, which is the Armed Services Committee. That has not happened, and we can thank Khalili Sublan for a lot of that work over the last 2 years. But these three candidates now have to tell the constituency, hey, listen, I'm here to get things back on track, The challenge is not just for Jimmy, who has a lot of Republican support and some Democrat support, but it's incumbent on Talina and for former Speaker Wampat to say, hey, we got to get everything on the Hill back on track. If that doesn't happen, I think over the next 2-4 years in Guam, we'll have a lot more challenges relative to federal spend and federal expenditure, especially on the 2 bases and the expansion of Camp Bloss.
Okay, we got to take a quick break, but before we go on, really quickly now, you mentioned Ben Bloss's name. There hasn't been a Republican congressional delegate for Guam since Ben Bloss.
Right, and that's an important distinction.
And what if, and there's possibility that Congress may turn to the Republicans this coming.
That's right, and it would be more of a benefit. Obviously, get the wall, get the economy going. So we got to it has to happen soon.
All right, Sean, like your props. We'll be back with more of the Hub right after this break. Stay with us.
The KUAM Care Force, along with partners Guam Animals in Need and the Booneyfly Project, are asking you to join NBC Universal in their nationwide effort to clear the shelters this August. We're encouraging our community to get involved, donate to these organizations, and adopt and foster pets to help our growing stray animal population on Guam. For the 8th consecutive year, NBC is raising awareness and funds in their local communities to support animal welfare. Since its inception in 2015, Clear the Shelters has helped more than 700,000 pets find new homes. Join us all August long for live reports on KUAM News HotSpot and Primetime, special news series, My Pet's Story, a weekly series on KUAM Digital showcasing heartwarming stories of pets who found loving homes, weekly posts on KUAM social media platforms featuring pets in need of homes. Let's do our part to clear the shelters and support animals in need.
Okay, we are back, and before we move on to the legislative race, I wanted to just ask you guys really quickly what you think will be the key issues for the congressional side, the federal territorial issues that you think would be most prominent for the candidates to tackle. Chris?
Well, I think he's absolutely right. The economy is a problem. We need to get more federal dollars here, and I'm confident that basically all 3 of them will work as hard as they can to get the federal spend out here. It's something that our not only our government but our residents really count on. We got to make sure that we can expand Medicare out here, make sure we can get more people on affordable health care. I think that's a very important issue for Guamanians, and really just making sure that the positive light is shined back upon Guam in Congress, because it's, as we've seen over the past number of years, there have been some issues, but we need to get the voice out there talking and people working together to get a positive outlook for Guam.
Issues, Chris? What are you talking about?
We're not talking about anything in specific. I'm just saying that.
Ron, your thoughts?
Sure. The classic issues are always applicable. There's the classic 3, which is health, education, safety, and the economy, of course. But really for Guam and Congress, it's the America issue. And that's what the big issue is. And that's the one that candidates never run on. And so either I love America or I don't love America.
You're talking about political?
Yes. Not just that, just how they approach their feelings of being an American. We're great. We love Guam, and of course we love Guam, but we can love America too. And so I think a successful candidate for the Congress is going to be able to reconcile that and say, yeah, I love America. Because if they don't, then that's the gorilla in the room, and that's where all the votes are, if you look at it from a neutral standpoint.
Interesting. Sean, what do you think? Political status?
No, I mean, I've been thinking one of the most neglected issues is support to our veterans. When you have about a $50 million clip that comes into the territory with about 15,000 plus veterans, and I'm not talking about those from the Vietnam era, we're talking those who are just completing their service. We needed to have more services for them and kind of getting that voice back out. I mean, I'm hoping all 3 will take a look again at the support for veterans. Also, we have to remember, importantly, is as we're also trying to get off of high-risk grantee status, how can you provide more federal resources to support our education system? I mean, higher ed can use some help, but with this move away, maybe there should be some either permanent way to support the $6 million in support of what was former third-party fiduciary.
And I understand for congressional delegate, the bulk of the work is constituency work. Yeah?
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. So let's move on to the legislative race. Now that we've had an opportunity to, KOM has been doing these candidate profiles. Jason has done a great job of that. So we'll get to know them a little better, some of the ones that are new. Chris, what's your assessment of the legislative slate?
Well, I think that both parties have a number of really good incumbents that are coming back, which I'm thankful for. But there's a lot of exciting candidates out there too on the Democratic side. People like Jonathan Savaris, who's a cannabis advocate. We have Will Parkinson, who's a cannabis advocate. Roy Gamboa, and Roy Kinata. There's a bunch of them, and I cannot say everybody's name because I'm not going to have the time. But one thing that the Democrats are unified on in the legislature, in my opinion, in my conversations with these people, is that they just want to get Guam to be a better place, period. They want to focus on healthcare. They want to focus on making sure that our schools are properly funded. They want to make sure that the tax revenue we're collecting is being spent appropriately, and that we're gonna maybe have to move some employees around, retrain employees, get more technology in. And I think these are things that we can agree on, both parties. But I feel like at the end of the day, the Democrats, for 3 years in a row, we've delivered surpluses working alongside the administration. The deficit is gone. We're able to invest now in our future rather than just living for today. We're trying to look forward so we can have a plan moving forward for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And I think that having a Democratic majority is going to help us in that endeavor.
You think the legislature will continue to have a Democratic majority?
I do. I'm confident in our slate of candidates that we have a great group, and I think that the people of Guam are listening, and Democrats have proved that they've reduced taxes for 90% of businesses. They give them a 40% reduction in their BPT. That's going a long way to helping the businesses stay open. New businesses are being created. We have more businesses now than we had pre-COVID. So I think that under the Democratic leadership, we've done the best we could, and it's been a very trying last 3 years, and working together, we can move it forward and make Guam a better place.
Ron, we brought this up in a previous hub about the legislative candidates. Now that they've had a couple of weeks or more to kind of get their word out, anybody stand out to you?
Oh, there's some great candidates in this election. And I just want to point out, if Trump and Biden can get elected president, anything can happen in politics. So there could be a Republican, majority. Let's keep that in mind. You never know.
Right.
But I do think that the Democrats are in a bit of a cat's bird seat. They're well positioned. Remember, there's 6 open spots off the bat. And so that both makes us an incumbent's preference election, plus it makes it a newcomer's preference election. So it's an ideal kind of perfect storm for new candidates. This is the moment when newer candidates can really step in, because there's a lot of breathing room there. And I don't really see any orchestrated attacks against the current incumbents. On the new candidates, there's some really good new candidates, and I hope that the public take a good look at them. And I was very pleased. I spoke to several of them in the last month or so. I was very impressed with them. They have heart, they have vision, and they really, they're very new. I mean, they're kind of like when you look at teenagers and talk to teenagers, that's how I feel when I talk to them, because they're so enthusiastic and so dang, committed to wanting to make good change. And that's the neat thing about that new group. They're not jaded at all. They have high hopes and vision, and which is really, really neat to hear. And I encourage everybody, listen to what some of the new candidates are saying, and you'll hear a lot.
I agree.
Sean, we have your co-panelists saying that the Democrats will retain the majority. Do you beg to differ?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the community has watched Democratic leadership for a while, and we have kind of doing the same things over and over and over again. I'll agree that there's been some significant attack to the deficit, but public policy that's been created, the quality of the public policy has been absolutely abysmal. That we need to change the viewpoint, need to take a different look at the way public policy is created, and the biggest thing that we all should take away from this is there has to be that check and balance of the executive branch. The executive branch obviously has the ability to do so much, but they are co-equal for a reason. The judiciary spends a lot of time telling that to both branches, and they're pretty much left alone. The legislature, this is a good time with the quality of candidates that Ron and even the candidates that Chris mentioned to get into the legislature and bring about substantive change, especially when it comes down to check and balance. There has to be that, or we're going to continue down this pretty path of not great public policy.
All right, we're going to take another break, and we'll do that, and we'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
All right, we're back. Just a few minutes left in the show, gentlemen, but I wanted to talk about voter turnout, how important that's going to be. Last time, I believe it was about 67%, which is very low for Guam. Chris, what do you think?
Well, over the past 4 elections, primary turnout has averaged under 60%. So, and they've all been hotly contested, so I don't expect much to change. I think it'll probably be somewhere between 60 and 65%. And I think it's going to be the organization of the campaigns, the organization of the candidates, who's going to be able to pull their votes out. And I neglected in the last segment to mention Chris Malfunction, who's also running for senator. That's a change guy. I mean, he wants to come in and work hard to make change. And, Democrats, we believe in that. So, those kind of people, those kind of change candidates are going to help drive the vote out for Democrats. And hopefully we'll maintain the majority and send a Democrat back to Congress and have a Democrat in that loop.
All right, Ron, voter turnout. Do you think it's going to be high, low?
I think it's going to be average in general. But the key thing I want to mention: why do people vote the way they do, and it's all related to emotion. And the key advantage Chris Malfunction Darrell has is he connects with people.
Yeah.
And so when candidates connect with people, if they find what connects with people, they're going to be successful. And that's what's going to make some of the new ones successful or not. And it's directly related to turnout. If people feel that their vote is going to matter, they're going to turn out more. And in this primary, their vote's going to matter. It's going to matter a lot.
Okay. And Sean?
I've been here on this air for many years talking about the fact that voter turnout is the absolute kind of like the biggest issue that should face the Election Commission and all the candidates and the campaigns. I hear in the early voting, it hasn't been great. I mean, they were anticipating 300 a day. Since the start of this, they're only averaging less than 200. We should be absolutely concerned as a community that we are down the road again of another below 70% voter turnout. Even though there's been some infusion from the IDs and the whole idea of getting your driver's license, but as a community, if we have so much apathy, that is what has me concerned and keeps me awake, is the level of apathy from our society that we're not thinking that our vote's gonna matter. We have to get everyone that's out there that's registered to vote or not registered, get them registered and make sure they do vote. And again, if they do, we should make them understand that this is an important part of living here and that their vote does matter and can have some substantive change to the way we see that our island's being running at both branches, for sure.
Yeah. Because the Republicans, the gubernatorial and congressional candidates at least are uncontested, do you think that's going to have a cooling effect, a chilling effect on the Republicans coming out to the primary?
Maybe on the primary side, right, Nestor? But in the general, I mean, it's a bit different race, and I think that it'll all start to ferret itself out. Just got to get more interest, more energy, and we should all push more effort to get people to get out and vote.
All right, you hear right here. Everybody, get out and vote. We've got, less than 3 weeks left till August 27th, the primary election. So get out and vote. That'll do it for us this week. Thank you for watching. I'm Nestor Lecanto. This is Chris Carrillo. That's Ron McNinch. And that's Sean Gumatauta. And this is The Hub. We'll see you again next week.
Let's go, Brandon.